Hi guys, welcome to the Music B&B. I am Callum, and today we're going to be reacting to an album by an artist known as Summer Twinkling. So this is the debut album by Summer Twinkling, also called Summer Twinkling, and it's an interesting project to say the least. Summer Twinkling are an independent indie band, and I feel like the self-proclaimed word indie from them doesn't quite cut it. You see, they have elements of rock, alternative indie music, of lounge, jazz, loads, you name it. It's in there. There's some element of something in there, and I don't think indie quite cuts it. So as a band, I would probably call them alternative. I'll take you through the track one by one, and then I'll show you my reaction to each album. The first track was called Bystander, and it had this sort of Red Hot Chili Peppers almost vibe from the bassist, with this nice sort of euphoric sound throughout. Really, really nice, and then hitting with some kind of rock towards the end. Enjoyable track, and at first I thought, oh, this is an instrumental band. There were absolutely no lyrics. So this first track is called Bystander. Interesting artwork there. It's AI generated artwork. Kind of creepy. Quite experimental, alternative kind of indie stuff. Oh, here we go. It's giving me the names of the tracks at the top. I don't need to look. Was this on loop? Like a GIF. Okay. Quite a nice sort of relaxing groove to it. Reminds me almost of a Chili Peppers kind of vibe. Like a Californication kind of chilled vibe. Just turn it up a little bit on here. You guys can hear it in its beauty. The question is this instrumental as an album all the way through? No problem with instrumental. It just has to be engaging and interesting and unique enough to be instrumental, I think. It needs to have a lot of twiddly bits, a lot of exciting bits going on for it to be instrumental. A bit like Animals as Leaders. Polyphia, for example. It's beautiful. It's got really nice sound to it. Well produced. I feel like those drums are real. They just feel very produced, maybe to the point where it feels like they might be fake. I think I'm wrong though. Very nicely produced. Bassist just living his best life. Getting a bit more rocky. Not too sure yet where these guys fall in terms of a category. Do I need to? I'm not going to be a gatekeeper. Nice progression building up here. I feel like it's still building up. It's manic and it's still building up. Let's have a look at timing. So this is still Bystander. Nice little 3-minute opener. I feel like these guys are instrumental. Track 2, Summer Triangle, was a lot more slowed down, and it was like lounge, chilled vibe. Like you could imagine like eating at a restaurant with this in the background. And then suddenly at one point in the track, for seemingly no reason, lyrics came in, vocals were heard, and then swiftly went. And I was like, so is this band, do they sing all the time? Do they not? And this became a kind of recurring almost problem throughout the album, was that I was left unsure as to whether it was a vocal album or an instrumental album. And it felt like a split of about 15% vocals and then 85% instrumental, which was just a bit of an unusual thing to do because I didn't quite know where I stood with them. How well can you hold my attention for half an hour? with purely instrumental stuff. Okay, this second song is called Summer Triangle.
Seems like it's over now. I can hear how the melody breaks.
I was wrong. We've got vocals. Interesting way then to start an album off. It would give the impression that your band is instrumental, as there's next to no vocals in the first one. Perhaps just some simple oohs and ahs or something just to indicate that there are vocals coming. To the standard listener who's not into instrumental stuff, that would just keep them holding on a bit longer, keep their attention longer. The vocals are sounding good. Some nice harmony work. Little calm solo there, not being too flashy, being careful with it, being deliberate with it. It's nice. I do like bands that have deliberate choices in their solos, not just someone who's just going to start showing off, you know, just look how many frets I can play at one point. It's really nice. Also nice to see the bass taking a back seat as well, not just that constant drive of, oh, look at this flashy bass. Giving the rest of the band the ability to show off. It's nice. Bit of a Beatles-esque thing there, you know. Got Paul McCartney playing his bass riffs, and he could go over the top, or you could constrain him, and it works to the advantage. I kind of wish there was more vocals though. Just have vocals for 10 seconds. It's kind of weird, almost like sparse. In this vast sort of landscape of music, feels kind of lonely. Just that one space of isolated vocal, really lonely within the whole space. It gives it quite a dark, quiet, and yeah, I would say lonely again. A lonely atmosphere I'm feeling. And I think in sections like this, where there's not too much going on, that's where you need your vocals, something to keep me hooked, interested. No, even if the band themselves are shy singers, not confident singers, talking works a treat. There's an indie band from England I've been listening to recently, Squid, and they just talk, they don't really even sing, and it's interesting. Check them out, Squid, if you haven't checked it. Check them out. Yeah, I like the start. The start of the track was promising. And then it moved on calmly to another track, which was lounge hop, called Bubble, which did remind me of being in the sort of jazz club, drinking some champagne. A really nice backing track to that kind of vibe, but definitely not one that you'd focus all your attention on like I was doing. Now this is like gardening music. This is sitting outside on the veranda, enjoying a nice coffee, watching the Italian sunset in the horizon. You're in Italy now, by the way. Loving the chord changes, chord progressions are very good. These guys have a very good understanding of chord blending. It's very lounge, actually, more than anything. Maybe we're not on the veranda, maybe we're in a jazz lounge. Bubbles like champagne. Yeah, I'm getting the theme. I'm getting the theme. See, all these lovely things the instruments are doing, to an average listener, you don't picture or see these things. As a musician, I am picturing the drum playing, I'm picturing what the bassist does, and if I was seeing this live, I'd be impressed and I'd be loving it. But when you just listen to the pure audio, you lose that connection, you lose what you see the instrumentalist doing. And things that sound fancy to an average listener could be really fancy, could not be. It makes no real odds and ends to people. Which is where you can lose people when doing instrumental work, unless it is varied and interesting enough. However, play this in the background at a restaurant and you're on for a winner. This is background restaurant music. This could be elevator music, jazz lounge music. It's got so many places that this music fits into. I haven't really spoken much about production yet, but that's a good thing because production has been quality. Nothing has stood out as being too jarring. The only thing that has been jarring is the vocals suddenly. So either no vocals or vocals. I don't know where the band stands with that. Then we moved on to a song called Aegean Polaroid, which I'm still not sure if I'm pronouncing right. But Aegean Polaroid was a nice sort of sunrise, jazz-inspired lounge kind of music. It was nice. It reminded me of a sunrise. It reminded me of beautiful days, spring mornings. Gorgeous, gorgeous track, and a lovely saxophone to go along with it. This is Aegean Polaroid? Aegean Polaroid? Tell you what, guys, you need to stop giving me difficult stuff to say. I don't know every word. Oh. Tell you what, this is good music though for a Saturday morning in Britain. Nice sunny morning. This is the music for that. This is sunrise music. That saxophone so carefully and gently placed. You can hear all the frequencies that have been taken away from the saxophone, but it works so nicely. The reverb is pristine. It's just enough. It makes us feel so warm and inviting. It's interesting because from a band who, on the first track, I thought were heading in a rock direction, to then being some sort of indie rock, indie pop alternative direction, to then becoming lounge and jazz music. I'm still not sure where I stand with this band, but that's not a bad thing. The variation is great, and it should be appreciated. And too often bands spend all their time in that comfort zone. You know, people like this song, let's do more of this song, and then every song's like that. AC/DC, for example, and it does work for a lot of bands, but I don't know, I'm the kind of person that enjoys variation. That being said, if I'm going from a non-personal perspective, the variation can be a bit too much for other people, so there's no win, there's no lose in that situation. People are different. Unfortunately, in music as well, music is one of the most critiqued art forms out of all art forms. It's just continuously critiqued. And it's so baffling, isn't it, how one can like something and another cannot in a song. Even the world's most popular music is hated. Some songs are hated by others. It's such a unique taste, music, and everyone has an opinion on it. I know I'm talking over this a bit, but I got the gist of what's going on, and there's not too much in terms of from a reactionary point of view. Not too much I can react to. That doesn't mean it's a bad song. It's a lovely song. It's gorgeous, in fact. But if I was watching a video of this being performed live, I'd be more impressed with like the saxophone run that I just heard, for example. Please bear in mind, this is stuff I could never make, and I love making music, and I make a lot of music, but nowhere near at this level. If you want to check out my music, I go by the name 315, which is my alternative stuff. I implore you to check out different albums from my project line, because I have a lot of different things. I vary it too much. Or if you're into sort of electronic metalcore kind of stuff, then Delete is the name of my other project. I'm liking that weird electronic sound at the end, the synthesized sound. I like that one. Then we moved on to track 5, which was called Pool, and again we were in that calm atmosphere, and it was at this point I was starting to feel the fatigue of someone who had focused their attention too much on calm, relaxing music, which is not what people tend to do for relaxing music. And although it was great, it just felt like I was going to end up repeating myself, and I like that one. Okay, this is Pool, 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 Pool. You can see on here they call themselves indie band Summer Twinkling, but indie? Perhaps in the sense of independent. I would say alternative. Maybe alternative indie, but some of these tracks do not fall into that indie as we know it today category. Perhaps the first and second track did dip their toes more into that genre. This is turned into a lounge jazz kind of genre more than anything. I think 3 of these quite relaxing tracks are starting to wear on me a little bit, because the first 2 tracks had energy, excitement, change. These 3 tracks, very calm, relaxing vibe, and to focus my attention onto that for 3 songs can be quite a bit. Like I said, if I was just doing something, putting the dishes away, wiping the kitchen, I don't know, this would be enjoyable. If I was watching it live, enjoyable, but just to focus solely and listen to this, I'm feeling the wear and tear. So I'm hoping there's a bit of variation. I think if the project had moved some tracks around to go from like calm to excitable to calm to, you know, that kind of flow does help. Bassist is a highlight for me. Incredible job, this bassist. And the drummer. There's enough variation in the drums, but subtle variations too. Oh, I'm liking this. We've got keyboard organ. So next up we've got a song called Shoemaker Levy 9. That's probably the most interesting song name on the album. Although I do want to know what HSG stands for, which is track 7. Oh, not enough of a bend, I think, on that guitar there. Unfortunately, by this point, we'd spent 3 tracks in this sort of chilled out vibe. And from the opening sort of angst from the first track of Bystander, this was unusual. And I was worried that the rest of the album would be this calm. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, a complete left turn with Shoemaker Levy number 9, which was an absolutely hard-hitting, rock-inspired track with some great riffs. It was so exciting, so punchy, and it reminded me a bit of the Tom Morello kind of vibe from like Audio Slave and Rage Against the Machine. And I was like, what is this? Because after spending 3-4 tracks in this calm atmosphere, to then suddenly come back to this was just so different and unusual. Too beautifully produced in the way that it's too well rounded, too smooth, perhaps not spiky enough in its like edges. Okay, we're getting back to the sort of Chili's kind of vibe I'm feeling here. Shoemaker Levy number 9. Okay, this is the track that should have come before the last one, I feel, in the track running, just to bring the energy back and my attention back. Vocals again. Those poor microphones when you play live must be sitting there begging to be used. Oh, that's a groove. This is like a Tom Morello kind of groove here. Where have these vocals been? The lack of vocals it's been too sparse to be enjoyed, to be recognized. It's kind of weird now to hear vocals. And they're good singers. This is really nice. I'm loving the combination of the female and male vocals. Like, doing that throughout the album would have been great too. That riff, very, very Tom Morello pentatonic. Okay, favorite track, this one. Ooh. Drummer's getting to that double bass drum kick. Okay, we're going metal now, are we? Oh, that riffage. Very metal. Very metal. Sorry, I've had a cold and it's killing me in my nose at the moment. Okay, kind of milking the solo now, buddy. It's good, it's good, it's good. Call yourself an indie band. I just call you alternative rock, perhaps. It was also one of the few tracks again that had vocals in it for a brief period, with a male and female singing beautiful harmonies, and I just wish there was more of it throughout this album. And after such a really hard-hitting, punchy song like that, you know what we need? Another lounge, calming track, and that's what HSG was. Unfortunately, though, it's not what we needed after so much of that, and by this time I was bored of hearing those, which was unfortunate because a lovely track HSG was. It just was such a non-mover compared to the other tracks. That's a song. Okay, so that was Shoemaker Levy 9. What a song. Back to the lounge, I guess, for HSC, our penultimate track. Too much to say. Gorgeous, nice, lounge music. Not too much else sticking out. After having heard. Oh. See how unusual it is to not have vocals throughout and then suddenly hit you with vocals. It's weird. I think Summer Twinkling could do with working on integrating vocals as a part of their performance more regularly, more obviously. Perhaps work to structures that involve lyrical hooks, choruses, things people are going to remember. Because there's nothing wrong with the vocals. The singing's lovely, the lyrics are lovely. Just needs to be more of it. Either go full instrumental or go full into your vocals. But don't do a sort of 10% vocals, 90% music. If it's a matter of not being able to sing whilst playing certain things, then consider what else could be going on in the mix instead. And then out of nowhere, the album closer, by which point you think, a closer might be quite calm. Nope, it's a completely different vibe, almost hip-hop in its drums, and almost sounding a bit like Polyphia in its guitar riffage and bass playing, with some amazing vocals throughout the whole track. And at this point I was like, what is going on? It's like a left turn had taken a left turn, and now I was presented with a completely different band. Like, you could have showed me the penultimate track and the last track, and I would have said they were two completely different bands. Here's our last song, Melon Soda. Okay, this has got a nice kind of lo-fi beat to it. This feels a bit like Polyphia, actually. Okay, where's this guy been? Can he be included in the tracks more often, please? This is a groove, this is good. Why is this the last track?
Oh my, oh my, melon sodaが飲みたい Oh my, oh my, カルピスソーダ
This guy's voice is amazing. If it's the same guy that's been singing before, just in 2 languages, it's great. I kind of want more of this, please, please. I mean, this is too cool for school. Too cool for school. Okay, like an album of this kind of style would be amazing. Absolutely amazing. It'd be hard for me to suggest a style for these guys to lean into, and in fact I'd probably say don't lean into a certain style, but there are some things that have worked really well on this project, and there's some things that have missed the mark. The songs that have had vocals throughout have met the mark more often. Okay, let's different bands. And this is wherein I feel the problem lies for Summer Twinkling, is that although it's great to vary yourself and try out lots of different genres, there has to be a grounding element that you stick with throughout that says this is what this band is. I'm a massive fan of a band called Enter Shikari, and they have completely different sounds, but they have the grounding voice of the lead singer to take them through that journey, along with electronic synth elements. And I feel that's what Summer Twinkling is missing, something that's going to ground them throughout everything, that says this is us, this is what makes us us, and then all the rest of it we can vary. And at the moment it feels like they're trying to find themselves, so I'm interested to see where Summer Twinkling go with their next project, because at the moment I don't know where they're going to go. Now, I'm not saying lean too heavily onto one style, one genre, because I hate that. But don't go too far off the page and dip your toe into everything. Well, don't go too far off the page and dive into every single genre. Dip your toe in the waters of a genre whilst keeping yourself grounded in one place. It's a tricky one. It's hard to suggest where to go, but I think the main thing is to ensure that there are vocals throughout the project so that it doesn't feel so sparse and empty and unnerving when the vocals do come in. Let's rate this album. So I like to go off my 5 points: the flow, the lyrics, the artwork, the production, and the singing. I'm going to give the flow probably a 6 out of 10. I feel that although I do like variation, there has been a lot of variation through this album, which has been enjoyable. I feel it spent too long in the lounge, the lounge jazzy kind of areas, and didn't spend enough time in the vocal areas, in the funky areas, in the upbeat areas. So that's the reason why I'm giving this flow is a 6 out of 10. Also, with the added sparseness of vocals throughout the project, lended me towards a sort of confusion about what this band wanted to show. And I get it, because this band wants to show a variety of different things they can do and work in different ways, but it just ends up being a little bit confusing. Lyrics. The lyrics I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. I thought all the lyrics that were sung were great. The ones I understood, even the ones I didn't understand, sounded really nice. The artwork, I'm going to give the artwork a 10 out of 10. I thought the artwork throughout the project, for each individual song as well, was great. And I think each one fitted the style of the music that was being portrayed. Production, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I thought the production was flawless. There was nothing wrong with anything that was going on within that. And then the singing, again, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. The singing was beautiful. I was considering knocking down the singing because there wasn't enough of it, but I think that goes more into the flow of the album than anything. Everything was sung beautifully. If anything, I just want more singing, and perhaps for the band to feel more confident when it comes to singing and to include it more often. Okay, so if I had to give an overall rating to this album, I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. So yeah, if you agree with anything I've said or disagree with anything I've said, make sure to tell me in the comments. Make sure to hit up the band, let them know what you think of the music. It's linked down below in the description. In a world where everyone wants to be heard but no one's doing the listening, be the one that does the listening. Goodbye, I guess. Bloop.
Oh, I say.